After 3 days into the 2020 NBA postseason, a lot has unfolded upon us. The Bucks and Lakers, both number 1 seeds, lost their Game 1 first round matchup. First time that happened since 2003. How's it going, guys? My name's Wilson. Starting off with Monday night's game, Blazers-Lakers. Nobody expected LA to be held to just 93 points against a Blazers team with weak defense. Many of the role players for Los Angeles were absolute travesties. Although they held Portland to 39% shooting, LA shot just 35% from the field, 5 of 32 from 3, unacceptable standards. Portland had the better half-court offense, and it showed. Alex Caruso, who was barely an NBA player last season, played 29 minutes. Good energy guy, but not that good as an NBA player to be playing heavy minutes in a playoff game. LeBron at 35 years old, still an amazing player, but cannot be the one making every single play despite the 23, 17, and 16 stat line. If he plays like this every postseason game going forward, the Lakers have no chance to win at all. Scoring 93 points on a team that allowed 123 the previous 6 games, James couldn't finish that easily at the rim with the 7-footers of Whiteside and Nurkic. Both centers even shared time on the court together. Despite the loss, the game was up in the air in the 4th quarter, but the 2 crucial missed free throws, each from Davis and James, cannot happen again. Lillard with the clutch dagger, what he's been doing all bubble. Despite 4 Blazers with 5 fouls, LA missing a secondary playmaker showed their ineffectiveness outside of James and Caruso. No other Laker had more than 1 assist. The fact that Damian Lillard was quiet from late 2nd quarter to mid 4th and took over, came alive, didn't even come close to having his better games this bubble. No Avery Bradley's a bummer. Portland's no ordinary 8 seed, 8-2 since being down in Orlando. They're already warmed up, doing so without Zach Collins. While the Lakers were rusty, Game 2 is a must-win for LA, and James will look to be more aggressive attacking Melo and whoever guards him. The fact that Melo went 3 of 11, Trent Jr. 2 of 8, and Portland still won. Last time the Blazers held a team to under 100 points, January 7th, Frank Vogel needs to make adjustments. Play McGee less, Morris more. KCP, the biggest absolute travesty, 0 of 9 from the field, 1 point. If they hit their threes, they'll win the series. While the Bucks' regular season defense flushed down the toilet in Game 1 versus Orlando, gave up 122 points. Giannis had 31, 17, and 7, but scoreless in the 4th, couldn't get anything going. His Achilles heel, the best player for 3 quarters, but in crunch time, there's at least 10 stars I'd rather have to take over a game over the Greek Freak in the last 3 minutes. Chris Middleton, 4 of 12 shooting, unacceptable. Outplayed by Markelle Fultz and Terrence Ross, being a 14-point favorite to lose by 12. Coach Bud has been a question mark in past postseasons, a great regular season coach, but doesn't adapt in the playoffs. If Milwaukee doesn't wake up, they'll lose the same way to Toronto. With the Magic building a wall in the paint, it's not that easy to finish for Giannis. George Hill at this stage of his career can't perform like the team's 2nd best player. This is an important postseason for the franchise. If Milwaukee don't make the finals, the intense talks of Giannis leaving in 2021 will be the hottest topic going forward. Nikola Vucevic, 35 and 14, dominated scoring from everywhere. I believe Milwaukee will play angry and come out on fire to start Game 2. Heat Pacers, as anticipated, both Butler and Warren didn't disappoint. Jimmy 28, 4 steals, 2 blocks on 15 shots. TJ 22 points, 8 boards, 4 steals. Sadly, Victor Oladipo injured again. Can't catch a break all season, being poked in the eye, sent to the hospital. Without him, Indy would have little chance in winning this series. Veteran Goran Dragic's experience proved vital. 25 points, Bam way better than Miles Turner. If role players Doug McDermott and Justin Holiday don't step up, Miami shooters and Robinson and Hero will be too much. Heat should win the series in 6. OKC Houston, James Harden's legacy will skyrocket if he can lead his team to the title this season. Put up 37 and 11, 6 3-pointers, his team clicked on all cylinders. Eric Gordon 21, the game he needed with the absence of Westbrook. The signing of Jeff Green proved vital, 22 points off the bench. Ben McLemore showed up, excellent D'Antoni style offense. Billy Donovan had no answers, a bad postseason coach. The Thunder had a heck of a regular season, but outside of Paul, lacks superstar talent. Every team needs multiple great players to win a series against a very good team. Whenever Steven Adams not on the floor, it creates open lanes to the basket for Harden and the Rockets. The Thunder needs to play better defense, otherwise they won't have a chance, especially if Westbrook gets back sooner than later. Raptors Nets, once again, no chance for Brooklyn whatsoever. Their depleted roster, simply no business competing in the playoffs, especially against the defending champs. Play well for 3 quarters in Game 2, poor execution down the stretch, Brooklyn likely getting swept. Utah Denver. With Will Barton deciding to go to rehab all of a sudden, the team doesn't have enough for contention. After an overtime driller, Game 2 was all Utah, thanks to the brilliance of Donovan Mitchell again. Back-to-back excellent all-around games, 30 points, 8 dimes, playing the point guard duties, looking much better since he's the focal point of the offense without Conley. Gobert a solid 19 points. Joe Ingles playing like 2 years ago in the OKC series, 18 points. How about Jordan Clarkson connecting on all cylinders, 26 points, a masterpiece for him, while Jamal Murray only had 14, not good enough. Paul Millsap continues to remain quiet, 5 points. Torrey Craig 0 in 28 minutes. Joker and Porter Jr. each scored 28, the only player to produce anything for the Nuggets. Mitchell took over, dropping 21 in the third period, a 43-point Utah explosion, something you barely see. The offense the team needs to win games after a franchise playoff record 57. While the Nuggets' 3-point defense has been awful, the loss of 2 of their key wing players making a difference. The game got out of reach towards the end of the second quarter after Utah ended the half on a 26th run. Denver's gotta do a better job closing quarters. The rest of the series should be interesting when Conley comes back. Would it ruin the Jazz chemistry? We'll find out very soon. I still got Denver winning the series in 6. Philadelphia, Boston. Joel Embiid had a dominant performance, especially in the first half, took initiative, 34 points, 10 rebounds, but his team overmatched. No answers for JT, 33 points on 60% shooting, continues to play like a superstar. Kemba a solid 22, Brown 20, Brad Stevens again, proving why he's the way better coach over Brett Brown, who might get fired after this season. After the second quarter, the game slipped away from Philly. Tobias Harris, once again, an absolute travesty, showing why he's one of the most overpaid players in the association. 13 points on 15 shots, unacceptable standards after a 40% shooting night, followed by 27%. Al Horford, also a disappointment, 4 points in 23 minutes, having no answers for Tatum whatsoever. This series is over. Yes, I said it. Embiid having a 30-point game and still get blown out by 27. The Sixers franchise at this point taking 2 steps backwards, Boston 2 steps forward. Philly might win 1 game this series, but that should be it. The Dallas Mavericks a wire-to-wire win, tying the series at 1 apiece, arguably their best performance of the season. Even with Doncic in foul trouble, the bench absolutely remarkable. The combination of Trey Burke and Seth Curry absolutely dismantled the Clippers defense. Whether it was Shamet or Morris, cooked them every time, got to the basket at will. This game not only might have saved Burke's career, which was hanging in the balance for the last couple seasons, but might have gotten him a solid contract going forward. Luka a hot 28 points, the most by anybody through the first 2 playoff games, passing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar 70 total. Porzingis a much needed help after being ejected for game 1, 23 big points. Tim Hardaway Jr., tough and resilient, aggressive all game, 17. Boban, Burke, and Curry combined for 44 total, more points than the entire Clippers bench combined, while Kawhi had a monster game of 35 points. The only Clipper other than Lou Williams that got it going, Paul George and Reggie Jackson, were absolute travesties. One of those awful performances, something we've seen from George many times, either hit or miss. It was misses after misses, bricks after bricks, got open looks, but couldn't buy a basket at the right time. George was an atrocious 4 of 17 from the field, more shot attempts than points, unacceptable, has to be more effective if he wants to win a title. The Clippers looked unmotivated like every other game this season, giving up 127 points, never acceptable if you're contending for a title. Zubac was close to producing nothing, perhaps giving Joakim Noah some minutes won't hurt. A terrific win for the Mavs, 29, 32, 37, followed by 29 points each quarter. The offense keeps on producing. LAC will look to bounce back. George should be upgraded from very bad in game 2 to at least decent at the very least for game 3. Those were my thoughts for the second and third day of the 2020 NBA playoffs. Thank you so much for watching this video. I love all of you. See you next time.